So my name's Phipps and I'm an ambassador for the Meningitis Research Foundation, and I was contacted and asked if I'd be involved in this amputee support day, and so far the day has been absolutely phenomenal. Even having been an amputee for 16 years and kind of thinking that I know everything, I've learned so much this morning already, and it's answered a few of the questions in my head about things with regards to pain, which I never knew, and it's the pennies dropped, and I thought, wow, I didn't know that, and that's why all of this makes sense. So if that's happening to me, and I've been an amputee for 16 years, for other professionals and agencies, then a day like this must be so invaluable.
So we had an invitation to sponsor, and we also offered if we wanted to speak, to have some time on the podium. So we said yes to both, and we have a passion in high active rehabilitation, high function rehabilitation, and so it's a good opportunity to share a little bit about what we do, and also take questions as well from this audience, because this is quite a different audience here to maybe who we're usually dealing with, say in the National Health Service, and sort of different aspects of budget and funding of prosthetic services. I think that this event is good because it's illustrating to people who don't have a speciality in prosthetics. I mean, it's in healthcare anyway. Prosthetics is a very small area of healthcare. Amputee rehabilitation is really a speciality all around the world. But within the medical legal profession, people who have met with incident or accident, it's a smaller number still. So it's very important that people's livelihoods, their future is being correctly protected and catered for. So it's good to make sure that there's an understanding of the technology that we have to offer, how it's used, the benefits it can have, and its place in the overall rehabilitation of people who are using legal services for their future.
It's very important, because if you're dealing with people who come into contact with patients who have lost a limb and they don't know what's out there, in other words, what the possibilities are, then the scope for that person's treatment is limited by the knowledge of the professional who's dealing with them. And if the professional has attended a conference like this and realises that there are very different aspects of treatment that can be brought into play for the patient, then I think it vastly improves the patient's experience and eventually the outcome. And it's not just the patient who benefits, their family benefits, and of course society benefits, because you have somebody who's more likely to get back into being productive, and that's better for everybody, including the patient, because people just feel better about themselves if they feel that they're actually pulling their weight and not being dependent.
The slightly unique bit of what we're doing is, as a consequence, I suppose, of my own experiences as an amputee. But I was before I was an amputee, I was a very active individual. I was a climber and mountaineer and all that sort of stuff. And for me, it was very important to be able to return to those sorts of activities. I then went through a rehab process myself, which helps, I guess. And I went through a process of my family coping with my circumstances and all the kind of life-changing stuff that goes with that. Often it's not until you have extremely traumatic events occurring do you actually kind of get to ground truth about yourself and about the people around you, and it brings out all the good and it brings out all the bad in you. It's a kind of a roller coaster of extreme emotions, really. And so the experience of going through that and then having the opportunity to deliver rehab programs in a military context, using that philosophy as well as lots of kind of civilian coaching techniques, and being able to mould all that together in an experimental way, actually was really effective in the military. And when I left the military, realised there wasn't anything like that in the civilian world. And so the reason for setting up Adventure Rehab was to try and deliver a very innovative, individually targeted rehab process to civilian amputees who actually want to get off their backsides and get on and do things, and want to get back to work and want to get back on with their life, or they want to make the most of whatever capability they have remaining. A lot of these people, as I sort of said in my presentation, they just want to be dad again. They just want to be mum again. They just want to be parents again, or be the people they were before. And with some adaptations perhaps, and with some allowances made for their new physical circumstances, that's largely a psychological game. That's largely a matter of people getting their heads around what's happened and how they can move forward together. And by taking people out of their normal environment and taking them away from the sort of the focus of their rehab as it has been, and putting them perhaps into an adventurous environment or to somewhere that's geographically exciting, and where you can actually have those detailed, difficult discussions with people about how life is now and how they want life to be, and overlaying that with some good coaching and some good leadership and some inspirational people, you can have quite an impressive result with people, in a relatively sensible period of time. And we end up staying in touch with people for many years after they've finished their course.